down we go. Green, green, green is the call, and Louis Foster hugs the inside. Scott McLaughlin goes for the outside line down into turn one, and look at Kirkwood on the move already on the championship leader, Alex Palou.
And this is what we talked about, guys. Just because you start up front doesn't mean you always stay there. It's clean through, but Palou is falling all the way down. Now McLaughlin challenging Foster.
7 cars off track as David Malukas loses it and is into the beach, and that will likely leave him there. I seriously doubt he'll be able to get going. And here comes, I think, Alex Palou on Pato Award.
But Foster is having to defend once again from Scott McLaughlin, who is all over the rear wing of the pole sitter. Has a look up the inside, but look at Award on the inside of Kirkwood and on the run up from 5 into the blind at 6.
Palou's going to be under threat here, entering turn 6 as well. He goes defensive. That's Graham Rahal who gets a position now. Your championship leader is falling back. Power's gone around as well.
Everybody knows that Palou wants to protect that championship lead, and they are chewing him up as I think that's Alexander Rossi getting pretty squirrely back there. But great job from the rookie. Louis Foster holding off massive attacks from waste runners and champions as the caution comes out from Malukas' stranded car.
And all of that fighting behind him really allowed Foster just to stretch his legs a little bit. But what a great first lap. What a great first 3/4 of the lap. I think Jacob Abel got caught up in the remnants of this as well as they try to get Malukas out of the gravel, get him back out onto the track. But a disappointing start for him after a promising qualifying run had left him in 7th place on the grid. On the run down here, just gets into the back of Pato Award. We are green. The restart line is just after turn 14. You'll see a white line on the track. They can overtake from there. Rear end squirreling around as they get the power down on the rise back up to the hill and down to turn 1.
Pretty big bobble from Louis Foster, and now Scott McLaughlin in the yellow and white XPEL Chevy pops to the outside looking to make a move. It's tough to pull it off, but you can do it if you're brave, and he does.
Goes the long way around and gets it done even before turn in as Palou on the charge and has a look and has the move on willpower.
Great move there from Palou to capitalize with those harder tires, getting around Power on the soft.
Go red 5, red 5.
Just getting some radio there from the 3, the XPEL Chevy.
This is Felix Rosenquist looking to make a move on Josef Newgarden.
As Power has a look to get back past Alex Palou, does it beautiful. And Rosenquist still alongside Newgarden as Lundgaard now on Kyle Kirkwood.
Forceful move from Christian Lundgaard. That's a tough place to just outbrake someone. It's not a huge brake zone, and it's very unsettled as the track flattens at the top.
Developing a reputation for being lungy, but pulling it off as Josef Newgarden looks to lunge on Graham Rahal. Newgarden really charging forward right now.
Sitting on board with the Penske driver Josef Newgarden through this long carousel courtesy of PPG. Such a tough right-hander through the flat-out right-hand kink to bring us onto the narrow part of the track, this fast flat-out section. And Palou all over the back of Power again. They're going to go too wide on the run down to Canada corner.
Palou and Power at it again, side by side. Power on the inside.
Oh! Both of them past Kyle Kirkwood. Brilliant stuff.
That is a full send like I've never seen before in Canada corner. I'm not sure Power planned to pass Kirkwood. He got in so hot.
They got passed. They both got passed by Palou. So net negative for Kirkwood. Break even for Power. But I'm with
Yellow's
you.
out. Oh, big one.
Schwartzman.
That's Robert Schwartzman
Turn
in the
12.
Wonder if he had some help.
This is Canada corner where we saw that incredible double overtake on Kyle Kirkwood. The heaviest braking. Oh, he's just lost it under braking, hasn't he?
Yeah, that one looked like all on his own. Some rear lock. Overcorrected.
Green.
Last time around, they get to 14. There's the line at which you can pass. McLaughlin with a tiny exit has a bit of a jump on Foster, who will hope to go with him as they snake down the start-finish stretch. And McLaughlin tries to break the toe.
Newgarden on the outside of Graham Rahal, nearly caught the back of Rahal going slow now. One of the MSR machines, I think that's Rosenquist trying to make it happen as well.
And Foster under big pressure from Lundgaard, who was absolutely on the move at the last restart. The McLaren driver now all over the rear wing of the rookie.
And Alex Palou sitting there in 4th as there's contact with Nolan Siegel and Callum Eilot in turn 3.
That's incredibly close between those two, but Eilot maintains the position on board her courtesy of NTT, and up and past looks like Christian Rasmussen having a look as now Palou goes for a look on Lundgaard.
Oh, Alex Palou got on that braking curb, and now Will Power's going to have a chance to pounce.
Rahal again with a bobble. Rosenquist by on board with the Verizon car. Will Power now. You're looking at the back of Palou through turn 7 here. Remember, on the first lap of a restart, push to pass is not active. That's a boost that gives you about 60 extra horsepower. You get 200 seconds as now we see Ericsson making a move on Rasmussen.
Rasmussen squeezing, and Ericsson can't find a way through. So tight and close as O'Ward gets bobbled over the curbs.
Pato O'Ward, who pitted off strategy there for brand new soft Firestones, looking to put that fresh sticky rubber to good use right now. Again, winning here, it's about pace. As we ride on board thanks to Aero, O'Ward has pace. He looks to the outside, ducks to the inside. Which way is he going to go?
That's a massive pace advantage on Abel.
No power, man, no power.
That's what's so tough around here is O'Ward claims no power coming out of the back of that number 5 machine. But the back straight isn't straight. You kind of weave and you follow the natural curve of the ground here. And it makes it very easy to defend and tough to pull off a move. Push to pass, active now. Lundgaard on the button, trying to get Foster.
He's got a great run. He goes way to the inside.
Foster tries to defend, but there's no way of stopping Christian Lundgaard from advancing into second place. And now Lundgaard will go after the race leader, McLaughlin. He's been aggressive at the start of this race. So a great move from Christian Lundgaard to move up into second. Foster falls down to third with Palou all up in his mirrors.
Mission Food onboards Christian Lundgaard. That guy had such a strong start to the season. 3 podiums in the first 4 races. Hasn't been back in the top 5 since, Kev. He's looking to try to get back on the podium and collect some hardware.
We saw him get hit at the start. He was concerned about the car. During the yellow, he said it's all good. And also of note, he's got another set of new softs. He and Scott McLaughlin are the only ones up front that have a pair of softs in that situation that used yesterday, along with others that are a little farther back.
Siegel with a tidy move on Christian Rasmussen to take that position from him and move up to 12th. We sit on board with Christian Lundgaard looking back at Louis Foster, who is still holding on in the top 3 on those soft tires.
Since the race start, Christian Rasmussen has moved up so many spots, which is what we saw him doing at Gateway last time out, en route to his first podium. So keep an eye out on the young Dane.
So it's McLaughlin from Foster McLaughlin from Lundgaard from Foster, from Palou in P4, Will Power behind him, then Kirkwood.
So I'm going to start watching lap times here. Scotty Mack did a 48.5 on his last lap, and then I'll be tracking lap times of Alex Palou, who's on that harder tire. McLaughlin comes across the line, goes 48.2, Lundgaard 47.9, and Alex Palou 48.1. So we're going to get to a crossover point, perhaps, where the black tire is stronger towards the end of this first stint for the leaders.
Palou not quite close enough to make the move on Louis Foster, but it's coming. You just sense it's coming in that red and white Solo Cup Honda, new livery for this weekend for the championship leader, shaping him up.
Palou on the button. Foster tries to defend, but he might have enough speed to clear him by the brake zone. It's a game of chicken into 5.
He crosses him up. If he can get a nose to the inside, he can't. Foster defends very cleverly. That's an important place.
Oh, that's a big one for Stingray, Rob.
Boom, the 77 Goodhart Chevy into the tires. Concrete wall first. You see the driver moving in the cockpit.
I'm so sorry, guys. What are we doing here?
Down in turn 5. One of the fastest parts of the racetrack.
I don't know what that was.
Be interesting to see what led up to that. I'm imagining contact with somebody.
He's apologizing to the team.
He was in a fight with Scott Dixon and Devlin DiFrancesco at the time that it took place. I'll have a look on board, courtesy of Goodhart.
Oh, got some rear locking. Oh, just a tremendous amount of impact.
I wonder if Malukas was saving a little fuel and he got surprised there. It's a little bit like what happened with, oh, it wasn't Malukas, that was Marcus Armstrong. I wonder if it's a bit like what happened with Malukas on the start, losing the back of the car. It's an awfully fast place to lose control. Almost 190 miles an hour as we take another look.
The most most experienced driver in the NTT INDYCAR Series. Scott Dixon, it's his 411th race start today, and he leads the field back to green. And already the McLaren of Lundgaard having a look and having a pop at the top of your screen as Kippen Simpson goes to make the move on Alexander Rossi. And Rossi defends to the inside, but look at Lundgaard coming and having a look at VK.
VK also looking very aggressive in terms of defensive moves on Lundgaard.
Now he gets up, pops up into three.
Oh,
lovely.
McLaughlin.
Can McLaughlin go with him? He doesn't want to lose touch with the number 7 of Christian Lundgaard. Now he's right on his gearbox. He's boxed in, nowhere to go, dropping wheels in the dirt.
Scott McLaughlin, 2 wheels on the grass, drops back, and VK should be able to take that position back again as Newgarden comes under pressure from Palou, who has to duck out of it.
This is where it's so crucial as the 3 McLaughlin has to go running through the dirt. VK goes by, now side by side with Power. When you're restarting in the middle, you were at the front of the field, now you're in the thick of it all. You've got to be so careful, but also so aggressive. And here comes Power looking at another lunge.
This could give a chance for Christian Lundgaard to get some breathing room on that strategy where Lundgaard now leads McLaughlin and Power right here. Boy, Team Penske did a great job on that round of pit stops to get Power forward. Also, Josef Newgarden.
And teamwork in the NTT INDYCAR Series, unlike in many other championships. Big!
180 miles an hour off for Power as Newgarden gets by, and there's more contact further back with Kirkwood.
Kirkwood having a look up the inside of Will Power, shows him his elbows and says, that's for last time.
How about that, Will Power?
Here's the problem, guys. That was small time thinking because Palou got around the 27. That's the guy he needs to beat. Power deserved that run off there. Kirkwood getting his revenge, but it's a net loss for Kirkwood because now Palou's back in front.
3-time champion teammate who's crushing it. Learn everything you can.
That's Connor Daly in the 76.
It's not been a good day for Connor Daly as he goes skidding off into the gravel trap in turn 5. And he is stuck. And what does that mean caution-wise? That's what it means, full course caution.
And this benefits the guys that just pit as we see what happened there. Just unable to slow the car down.
That was a bit Will Power-ish in terms of the move he put on Kirkwood earlier. In this case, Connor had a gravel trap to meet him, and there's just no way to get unstuck.
So Daly in the barriers, and we are back under caution at Road America. Green, green, green through the final corner and up the straight once again. Lundgaard leads the field and Kirkwood goes with him, has a great run out of 14, tucked up in his slipstream on the run down to turn 1. Lundgaard goes to defend, but Kirkwood will want to make the move immediately on the restart, and Lundgaard knows it. Kirkwood trying to go the long way round at turn 1. Oh, that's lovely from Carl Kirkwood, but he goes wide. Can he keep the lead that he's only just taken as Lundgaard is 2 wheels on the grass, but inside and makes it back through. Wonderful side-by-side racing between these two.
A little surprised Kirkwood went that wide on the exit. I didn't realize he was so committed. He looked like he was headed for Sheboygan, as now Kirkwood has a run coming back on Lundgaard as they come to turn 5.
Got it done on the outside of 1. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get it done on the outside of turn 5. A little trickier there as we see some more side-by-side action further back in the field. Everyone playing nice as Rossi now has to defend against a Ward, and behind chaos.
Mayhem behind. Colton Herter involved in that, so too Marcus Ericsson.
And is that Rahal? Rahal's fallen way back. What happened to Graham after that brilliant pit stop? They made up so many places. The Hendrickson machine has fallen back.
Josef Newgarden putting moves on again. This time on David Malukas. As ahead of him now is the car, I think, of O'Ward. But there is your race leader. Lundgaard from Kirkwood, from Rosenquist, from Foster. Dixon coming for Callum Ilott. So just a look at the mess that we just saw at the rear of the field.
Rinus VK into the back of Graham Rahal. Colton Herta forced to go wide to avoid the accident. Graham is going to be furious about that, and it probably will lead to a penalty for Rinus VK as we ride on board. Started with Graham Rahal getting pinched and crossed up and then having to defend.
Power comes through. Simpson goes past. So too Scott McLaughlin.
And right here in the brake zone, he's going to get a shove from Rinus VeeKay. Watch this.
Oh, yeah, you just hear the engine almost die because the rear tires lifted off the ground.
And there's the replay from Colton Herta.
I'm going to just lift off the throttle, nowhere to go. A lot of momentum, but no space to put that number 26. And then once Graham gets hit, nothing Colton can do. Forced out wide. And that's an uncomfortable ride getting back on the track there.
Oh, Rossi having a look at Dixon.
Oh boy, that was close.
These the leaders on the alternate strategy. Rossi having got ahead of O'Ward on those stops, but Newgarden finds a way past the two-time champion.
Yeah, that slow run through 6, let Newgarden close up and make the run down into turn 8.
The battle mid-pack has been insane today. It's just send after send after send, and drivers, for the most part, leaving room. It is a fast guys win racetrack, and I love it for that as Power continues to hold a gap as he spins.
Will Power just overcooks it on the exit of Canada on the run up the hill. He's had more incidents at that corner today than anybody, most of them with Kyle Kirkwood. That one all on his own.
No contact, so the car should be okay. I didn't see anything that would suggest he's going to have any damage. So pretty big loss there, but not as much as if he would have clobbered the inside wall.
Kirkwood is in. Let's see how this stop brings him out and where it brings him out critically in relation to Lundgaard. Kevin.
And it gives him a little bit more advantages because he went one lap longer than those on that same strategy. He's going to a set of new softs for this round. Kirkwood is out.
Okay, here we go. Kirkwood blasts away from his spot. Where is Lundgaard? We keep an eye on the right, and he is coming. Lundgaard will maintain the advantage. What's Rosenqvist got? Rosenqvist files in behind. Kirkwood gets out between.
But Rosenqvist on hot tires. Kirkwood still got to get those Firestones up to temperature. He's going to be massively vulnerable down into turn 5 here. If Rosie gets a good launch off of 3 on the push to pass, both drivers, no doubt, there's going to be a defense move here.
Rosenqvist lining him up. It's on the run down into one of the hardest braking zones on the lap. Around the outside and late on the brakes for Rosenqvist. That is a very, very nice move.
Tidy move from Rosenqvist. Just enough to clear the 27 going into 5. And now he can go be released to try to chase down Christian Lundgaard.
It'll take about another half a lap for Kyle Kirkwood's pressures to fully come up. But if he can hang in the tow with Rosenqvist, this could be our podium contenders right here on this strategy. Lundgaard, Rosenqvist, and Kirkwood.
We're back, and for the second race in a row, it looks like Josef Newgarden's day is done. This one entirely self-inflicted. Turn 14 has been catching people out all the way through this weekend, but here on board the car, he seems to have a bit of an issue, just raising his hand out of the car.
Yeah, just to cool himself down, but this is just flat losing it wide in turn 14. That left rear dropping off that paved exit section. And I thought he would be okay until he got into the tires there and hit quite a bit harder than expected. A lot of water sitting over there too, but the left rear, broken toe link, broken rear wing.
Suspension completely gone, as we saw from the onboard.
We talked about how turn 14 had been a challenge all weekend long, and this was one of the things we've seen. You get wide, the car sometimes bottoms out over the curb, and if you're already kind of catching a bit of a loose moment, it could just send it around, and unfortunately went all the way to the wall. The 2 crew trying to go at it, trying to replace the damaged suspension.
Power tempers the pace, controls the field. Will launch now with Alexander Rossi and Alex Palou behind him. But it's Dixon again who takes us back to green, and a much better start for him this time. Rossi with Palou all over him.
Not what you want to see in your rear view mirror. Defending champion and championship leader Palou, but he's getting it done. Here we go. That's Ferrucci making a huge move there on Kiffin Simpson.
That was brave. Big move from Ferrucci at turn 1. As Kirkwood coming under pressure. Oh, it's Ericsson, my apologies. From Lundgaard. And Lundgaard is under pressure from Rosenqvist. Keep your eyes on the back of the field. The orange and black car ducks out to get up on the inside of Ericsson. Rosenqvist will hope to go with him.
On board with Christian Lundgaard. So this is the alternate strategy that Lundgaard now finds himself leading. Drivers that still are going to make one more stop here as Louis Foster gets pushed off wide. But Lundgaard is right in the middle where all the action's been, James, and you have to try to keep your race car clean. Look at Pato O'Ward.
And how quickly, as strategy A, the optimum strategy, becomes strategy B, and potentially the not so easy strategy here today. Dixon leads from Rossi to the tune of almost a second.
Guys, I just love how this track is racing today. Even when someone gets a good lunge up the inside into 1, into 5, into 8, you can roll the outside, you can go side by side and still carry that momentum, make it a proper battle. And we're seeing it in every corner of this racetrack, up and down the field. This guy right here, Scott McLaughlin, sitting in a great position. He had a bit of a tire advantage coming into this race with 2 new sets. One of the only guys in the top 6 that had that.
I still don't know how all these guys, Dixon, Rossi, Palou, McLaughlin, Ferrucci, how are they going to make it to 14 laps to go? They have another 8 to run here. That would be incredible mileage if it stays green. I still think Lundgaard's probably in pretty good shape.
Dude, that was a great move from Graham Rahal just there around the outside of Colton Herta into turn 1. Graham is racy today. Lost all those positions down there in turn 5 on that restart, but he is having a heck of a drive right now.
We are back, and there has been contact. That is Christian Lundgaard. We also saw Carl Kirkwood going off as well. I do not know what has happened because it was behind the trees, but that is huge for how this race ultimately plays out.
These two were running as...
Oh, it's with Herta. So Herta side by side with Lundgaard. There's no contact. Lundgaard just gets over the bumps, lights it up, and loses it on the way up the hill, and that's what caused Kirkwood to go off to avoid him.
On board here with Colton Herta.
He just juiced it too much.
Christian Lundgaard just hit a massive bump out so wide on the runoff there. As we're right on board with the 7, we should be able to hear a pretty big hit in the runoff. Let's listen.
Yeah, similar to the Newgarden situation, so lucky to not get collected by another car there. Nice and late on the brakes, like you say, no contact, and then as he gets on the gas, right as the car was bottoming out, there's just nothing you can do.
Tanked it, cased it back there, spins up the rear.
Let's take a look on board with Kyle Kirkwood as the man he was battling with for much of the day ahead of us. Lundgaard loses it, evasive action and through for Kyle Kirkwood.
Could have been a big shunt for Kyle Kirkwood getting off there in the grass. He got concrete just to the left.
And without the yellow coming out, he's just lost so much time.
Totally.
And he was one of the leaders of that strategy.
Well, on that strategy, it now puts Felix Rosenqvist very much to the fore, the man who won his first race here.
First and only. The Sirius XM on board with Rosenqvist now for MSR.
So guys, huge championship implications because Alex Palou's on one strategy, Kyle Kirkwood on the other, along with Pato O'Ward. Based on how this plays out, it could swing heavily to one end or the other from the championship because, of course, Palou leads, Kirkwood second in points as they run right now, Pato O'Ward third, but those top 3 in points, again, split on strategy.
And he is on pit road. Drives past our commentary box and will roll into his position. Kevin Lee will be standing by to receive him.
Only A.J. Foyt has won more IndyCar races, and Scott Dixon might be the best ever at saving fuel, but this is a big ask. Seems highly unlikely without a short caution to be able to get home, but that's all that it would take, and then he's on level playing field with everyone else. Can they go a couple more laps to be able to get it done on just one final stop?
Every last tenth of a second of fuel that they can possibly get into that car. The Shell 100% renewable fuel. He's sent and on his way, 17 to go. Even for Scott Dixon, is that too much?
Scott Dixon, as expected, short and come into pit lane for a splash and dash. This should mean that Palou can make it because he was 2 laps to the good and there's 2 laps at the line.
My word.
And he's been running around in Scott's draft. He's probably been making even better fuel mileage than the 9 Scott Dixon.
But look,
Rosenquist has that gap down to 3.1. It was about 4 seconds a lap ago.
It was 4.5. It's now down to 3.1. 2 laps to go. Felix Rosenquist, it is now or never for your 2nd career victory.
He was 0.8 quicker that lap than Alex Palou. So he's got a shot. If he can get to that draft, he might have a chance, but how are they on push to pass? Palou still 117 seconds remaining to Rosenquist 26.
Right on board with Felix Rosenquist, who when he won here was racing for Chip Ganassi. He has to pass the new Ganassi talisman, the championship leader, the man who was setting all the records at the start of the season. He has to catch him first. He has to pass him. Those 2 very, very different propositions. And what about Santino Ferrucci sitting there in 3rd? Kyle Kirkwood just about a second behind him.
Problem for Ferrucci is that he is in a weird place on fuel as well. He's 1 lap to the good of Dixon. Dixon already had to stop. So I don't know if Ferrucci's going to have to come in this lap or if he's in mad fuel save to try to limp it across. That would put Kyle Kirkwood on the podium.
And Ferrucci's last lap was a 48.4. Would suggest he's saving a tiny little bit. But you know what? Palou, it seems, is stretching his legs over Rosenquist. The gap has extended. It was 3.1, is now 3.3. How does he do this? How does he do this?
Well, there'll be lots of people around here raising a red Solo Cup to this guy. If he can hang on for 1 more lap, it'll be party mode in Elkhart Lake.
White flag means one thing. It is 1 lap to go until the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag. And Alex Palou, as he has done on so many occasions this year, has a clear track ahead of him and 1 lap to go.
And if he does it, if he pulls off this last 3 miles of racetrack, it'll be his 6th win on the season, and we will still have only 2 winners over the first 9 IndyCar races this year. Hasn't happened since 1980. This guy, the other driver that's won 3 times so far this season. Just incredible.
And not just dominant from 2 drivers, dominant from 1 engine manufacturer, Honda, winning all 9 races. If Palou can hang on, we haven't seen that for a very long time either.
What a drive it has been. What a strategy he has employed, has his team employed today.
And think about how many crazy moments Palou's been through mid-pack on restarts with Will Power and Kyle Kirkwood earlier, that moment of the race that we showed you. Always figuring out how to make high percentage decisions, protecting his equipment, delivering exactly what his team needs.
It's been 50 years since a driver won 6 of the first 9 races. That was 1975. The driver was A.J. Foyt. We talk about the hangover after the Indy 500, which he won with aplomb. Did he disappear? Did we forget about him? You bet we didn't. Alex Palou, championship leader, wins again. It's 6 from 9 in 2025.
Alex Palou, 6th win of the season. Your race had everything. Tell us how you guys did it today.
Oh, I don't know, man. It was a crazy race. It was a crazy race for us. At moments, I thought we were losing a ton of positions, and we were making. It was a tough race for everybody. But yeah, kudos to the team for the amazing strategy, and Honda, man, HRC. Being able to give us the fuel mileage we needed at the end to make it, and then Solo Cups. It was fun. It's a fun race, so couldn't be happier at the moment.
Are we going to see a good party with these red Solo Cups tonight?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure we're going to have some fun, and everybody should.
Congratulations, champ. Great job.
Thank you.
Up next, it's the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio, Sunday, July 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern on Fox.